Wahala started when I moved to Lagos, So Lagos is a very different ball game to, the state that we were living in, right? And here we were, and we were living in a much larger house, like maybe almost 2.5 times larger than what we had in that other town. And so the demands were bigger, and don't forget that we had what was he, maybe 2 year old? Yes, we had a 2 year old and another on the way, right? And then now COVID happened, right? So it was quite a bit strenuous, with a young one, and then pregnancy, and then there's COVID and all that, and we are all at home, so the workload is much because you're always cooking or doing all that. And we said, okay, maybe it's time. We thought of bringing onboarding somebody. So the first one that came, I think at first she was just looking at me like I'm a clueless person. I think Kenyans and Nigerians kind of look different. You can assume a Kenyan. We are very simple people. We don't have drama. Nigerians are just, they are Nigerian women. Even just by looking at them, you just know I'm not gonna joke with this one. So I think when they found out that I'm Kenyan, first and foremost, they're looking at me, this small girl. Already, because I don't look like a big madam. I don't look like a big, Nigerians have this, even a small one looks like a big madam. Yeah, I'm just there, I'm easy. I don't have plenty drama. I don't shout and all that. So I think she was like, this one, I can just behave anyhow. So I realized she was really misbehaving. And I'm like, girl, do you know I have had house helps, literally, in my adult life, I've employed people, So I think she was just there. And then I realized my things were missing. As a woman, even if you have 1,000 handbags, you know when one is missing. And there's always a sixth sense. Like I'd sometimes just I'd go into the closet and find maybe the time I was missing my engagement rings. I don't wear that set because, it's really big. If I ordered it would be up to here because a set of 3 and all that. So I asked, and then after some time, I just found it I know where everything of mine is. I like order, so I know this thing is in this place at any one time. I know exactly where to find things. I organize my things. I'm very hands-on with my home. So I think she thought that, I won't notice some things. Some things, some clothes, missing and all that. So I was like, no. So I asked her, and she said that, madam, that in fact now that you're pregnant, these clothes will never fit you and all that. Now, me, I'm the one who knows myself. I've had clothes that are 10 years old that I can still wear today. I know my times and seasons and all that, and I don't fret. So as much as I had bigger clothes for the pregnancy, I knew at one time I would have that. And even if I'm not going to wear back my clothes, they are my clothes. Don't take them, So she became a bit familiar, and she had to go. Anyway, so when our third was born, it became a bit, we now moved into this particular house. Now, this house is even bigger than the other one, the one that we live. This is our second house in Lagos, right? So the house is much bigger, and of course the demands are higher. Now you have 2 younger children. It's still the COVID period, and at that time I was already in work, and I remember there's one project I was doing that was so intensive that I really needed help at that time because it was crazy. So this girl comes, and I think again she looks at me and she thinks maybe because I work from home a lot. I mean, if I lock myself in the office, you won't know what I'm doing. Or sometimes I'll work in the bedroom. You'll not know what I'm doing. I just look like somebody who is just enjoying their brother's money. And there's no problem with that. I mean, it's my husband's money. So I think she started like, what's wrong with this one? And then know me, I don't bother so much. I don't know with makeup and all that. I'm just a simple, very, very simple person. So I think she got into her head that, what does this madam have that I don't have? That kind of thing. And after all, she's Kenyan. What does she know? So what she didn't know is that we have CCTV everywhere, And on my phone, I can see every corner of our house and our compound and the surroundings. So she would go into like my closet, our closet. She would walk into our closet. When you're in the closet, I mean, it's a different, like it's a walk-in closet, so you can't see even if you're in the bedroom. I mean, so and she would start speaking to my clothes and to my things. Like imagine somebody getting into your closet and it's open. It doesn't have like wardrobe doors, and she would just be touching on my clothes and speaking to them. The other thing I noticed is that categorically there's one chest of drawers, a big one. It's up to this level that has our intimates, the singlets or vests and my camisoles and our underwear and all that. and it's a bit separate from the closet. But she wants to go there and arrange my husband's boxers and all that. And I told her categorically, you don't do that, you know. I never allowed her to do. I did all our laundry. I mean, you just put it in the machine and it dries and all that. The most she would do is maybe arrange the children's clothes, right? So she didn't have access to too much of our personal things. But I'd always find her there that she wants to, you know, arrange my husband's boxers. I don't know. She even wants to iron them. I'm like, you're overcrossing. Do what concerns you. Clean. Have you done the windows? Have you done the window panes? Have you, you know, have you refreshed the seats? She doesn't want to do that. She wants to do the business that does not concern her and the business that does not pay her. So once, twice, I was like, no, I told you this thing is out of boundaries. This section is out of boundaries. Don't go there. Then there's this habit that I have that my husband will buy, or when we go shopping, will buy hairs, different braids and all that. I like braiding my hair. It's just that of late I've been a bit busy. I don't do that. So I have so many kinds of braids and all that. They're in a bag this big. And she started saying that, oh, Chebby, I'm a hair seller. And all that. I said, no, they are mine to use. She said, all these are yours to use. So it's like, you know, darling braids, I don't know expressions. Just, I mean, not just the normal braids. She said, saying, and all that. And I was like, this woman is crossing boundaries. First and foremost, why did you open that bag? What's your business with that bag? Because it's even in a bedroom that we don't use at all. You know, it's in a place that you don't use. She said she was arranging the top things. And I'm like, what concerns you that? What are you looking for? So basically, this lady would clean the house as per where you're seeing. She had a really great salary. I mean, I believe in paying people, not just fair, but sometimes over and above. She'll just clean where you're seeing, but she wants to go and touch on things that don't concern her in places that she shouldn't go to. The other thing that really irritated me is that normally we shop, mostly when we travel, we shop, you know, and we find that if we find something that is, even if it's big, maybe it's clothes for a 7-year-old and we don't have a 7-year-old. If it's good, we'll buy it. Either we keep it for our children or we give out. You know, if that's just the way we are. So we have so many clothes in price tags, whether it's my own, my husband's, our children. So there's a whole suitcase, like a 23 kg, you know, the big suitcases with children's clothes inside. She now said that, Abi, you sell children's clothes. I'm like, what's your business with? I said, no. In fact, arrange these clothes in a particular wardrobe in one of the spare bedrooms. And now she started opening and saying, and she's talking under her breath, yeah? And she's not, it's not a dialect that we understand. She's from one of those small sub-tribes. So she'll be talking to the clothes as she's doing the things and all that. And she wants to check the price tag. But of course, she can't tell the price tag because then, I mean, either in dollars or pounds, you know? So I think she would just be very resentful of me. Like, I think she used to feel like, I don't deserve anything, or who am I, and you know, why, you know. Like, it was so, I think it was so disconcerting, you know. Then I realized she suddenly stopped eating anything from her house. So she would come with these 2 bottles, and then she'd walk with the bottles everywhere in the house. I now found her trying to, I don't know that she was dropping the bottles, I mean the contents of the bottle somewhere. There was one that had like a green concoction inside. I don't know what she was trying to do anyway, but you cannot do anything in our house. I mean, we are fortified thoroughly, you know, and we pray really hard. So when I notice some things, of course, my prayer levels go up. I'm very hands-on, as I said, with my home and with my family. And I mean, I tarry for my family, you know, and my husband too. He tarries. We have that covering because we understand the times we are living in. So one day, I'm just doing my work, I'm on my computer, and I'm just doing something, and my spirit is so disconcerted. And I'm like, no, there's nothing. So I just burst into spontaneous tongues. Like, for me, if prayer, the spirit of prayer comes on me, it doesn't matter where I am. It has happened even when, just before I get into a meeting, I will pray. I'm not ashamed. If I'm driving and it just comes, I just continue praying, or I park on the side if it's too much, or for me, I don't compromise on that. And I started praying. All of a sudden, she fell. I just heard somebody screaming from up. And I was like, what's going on? And I went. And she was like, not breathing, but she was like moving. And she was so angry when I saw her. Of course, my spirit just said, don't go near her and don't touch her. But I knew what was going on. There was just something, our spirits were not merging or mashing. And that's why I'll say that you have to be very discerning, you know, and you have to be very hands-on in your home. And I'm speaking to women and men, you know, if you have a family, you have to be, honestly, I don't know how people live without God in their lives, because you can't just live by logic in this world. So she was reading and she was all that, and she had such anger and hatred on her face. But for me, I knew what had happened, you know. There was something maybe she was doing or she was planning to do that was really backfiring. On top of that, I don't like people what's it called, mixing with our children, you know. The only time that our children are in the care of people is when they're in school, right? So they go to school and we pick them up and we handle our children from their bathing to their everything. I do the cooking in my home. I don't have a problem with that, you know. I'm just able to plan myself in a way that allows me to do that. And she wanted to start cooking and she wanted to do, and I refused that. I didn't want any of that happening, you know. That's something that we made, because we said, what if we're living abroad? You know, you can say, yeah, you should have people doing for years, and we can afford to do that. But we asked ourselves, if we're living in the US, in the UK, we have friends that live there, will you have 2 nannies and house helps and all that, you know? Even if you can afford, you should be saving that money for your children or investments and all that. If you can do it, do it. I still believe that if a woman wants to, she can still be in charge of her home. I'm very proud with all my education to still be a homemaker and to be a present mom and a wife. For me, that's extremely important. So she wanted to, you know, get close to the children and all that. And for me, my children are my responsibility, especially as they are young as they are right now, up to when they reach a particular age that maybe we can, you know, involve other people into our home and into their lives. But for now, no, because they are still very young. We still said we want to still raise them up to a particular age. So after that, we were just like, no, we don't want to have this kind of thing. It just strengthened our resolve that we don't want somebody around our home. We don't want nannies or house helps or whatever it is. We're going to do it. And the thing is that my husband is very hands-on. So it's not like I'm overworked or overdone. And you know, nowadays you have a washing machine, you have a dishwasher, those kind of things, then it doesn't get too stressful for you, you know, and you have a plan. It's not like you're cleaning the house every day. It's not like you live in mud or you're walking, you know, in muddy areas and all that. So I found that for me, it works. And also because I look at it that if I was going to the gym, I'd need 2 hours minimum, because if 1 hour, you know, shower, bathe, go to the gym, even if it's close by, drive there, then go and work out for 1 hour and come back, you still need 2 hours. So I'm like, I can dedicate 1 hour, 2 hours to my housework every day. In the morning 1 hour, in the evening 1 hour. Simple. And I'm fine. Or 2 hours as a block. It still works for me. So for me, the time that I get to do my work at home is like, I look at it as my workout time. It does really work for me because I don't go to the gym. For 2 years, we paid for gym, like yearly payments, and we never went, you know. So we look at it that by the time, you know, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, then you've worked out, however you want to look at it. By the time I carry my child up and down the stairs, I've worked out. I'm not looking perfect, but I don't look so bad either. Anyway, so in Africa, we are really spoiled, you know. House helps are very affordable and all that. But there's also other issues that are there that personally we just felt that we didn't want to deal with. So that's why we don't have house helps. And so some of the reasons why, that's my experience. I've had really bad experiences where my Niger friends have told me that some of them, you know, nowadays even children are being recruited into cults, yeah? So imagine you've brought somebody as a house help and then they have come there to recruit your child. Or if you're well off, they are trying to, I don't know, steal some very strange reasons. They're trying to take, I don't want to get into them, but really spiritual things, you know. Others will come and they are, at night, they are doing some strange things instead of sleeping. So if you're prayerful, you chase these people away with your prayers, you know, and that's why you can't be like, oh, she's perfect at her work and all that. What if it's a decoy for what they've come to really do, what their work is, you know? You don't want to endanger the lives of your child. I'm not saying all house helps are bad. I'm just saying that you need to be very careful, because imagine that's a home that you have built. Those are children that are in there. They're the most precious things. How can you just be exposing them to people you don't know? And if for whatever reason at any one time you feel that you're not comfortable with a nanny, please just let the person go. In Kenya, we are so dependent on nannies that they say that even the poor have nannies. And please note I said poor. Everybody and anybody has a nanny. So, and it's a good thing. But sometimes when you travel out, because of the dynamics and cultural differences, if you don't understand, you may have to really just take on the load or reconfigure yourself, because out here, you don't know what's happening. And even as my husband is Nigerian, he's still like, no, I can't deal with this. And also, I think because I saw my mom, she was a professional woman, and she was able to raise us without help per se. I mean, we were so many. But the thing is that the older ones, of course, were hands-on and all that. And it's the same thing that we've taught responsibility to our children. For example, the older one, he sets the table, you know, we have dinner, he clears the table, cleans the dining area, and washes the dinner plates. The younger ones also help in carrying things around, you know, they'll clear their toys, and we live a minimalist life, so we don't have plenty clutter in our home. So you find that they clear, before we go to sleep, people have cleared their space. In the morning, the older one is able to make his bed and the younger one's bed. I mean, it's easy, you know, and then, you know, shower, come down, ensure that the shoes and all that, and then as I take care of the lunch and the break for them for school, my husband is cleaning the children and all that, you know, just taking their baths and all that. By the time he comes down, they are ready, you know, we pray and they go off to school. We have breakfast, pray, and they go off to school, and our distance. So it's actually possible not to have a nanny if you can. I'm not saying you should, but if you can, actually it's very good. It has also helped our family. We've grown intimately, responsibility levels. Even the younger one, when he spills something on the table and it's two, he wipes. He says, "Mommy, I've created a mess," and he cleans it. So, I mean, that's our nanny story in Nigeria. Have you ever had a nanny from hell or a house help from hell? What happened? My experience was not so bad, but my dear, I'm not going to put fire on my lap. I'm gonna get burnt. So please let me know how it's going for you, and if you want to know how to cope, for example, without having a nanny, maybe we can talk about it another time. Okay, cheers. Bye bye. Have a great day.